A very good morning, Atheist Standard. This is Anvati, your social studies teacher with Block 4, Lesson Plan 2. I hope you all are fine, well, and safe at home. So get ready with your content book, notebook, worksheet, and the stationery that is very essential for your learning. The name of the block is Major Conflicts in USA. And today we are going to learn about emergence of United States of America. So get ready with your content book. As usual, I will start the lesson or the block with a question. First of all, we will see what had we learned yesterday. So we had read about the causes of American Revolution, and in those causes we had read about unfair taxation, idea of freedom, Boston Tea Party, and intolerable acts. Now, answer this question. Do you think that a revolution is enough to change society? So maybe your answer match with my answer. A revolution involves overthrowing an existing system of government. So the work of the revolutionaries continues even after their victory. It becomes important to establish a new system of rule that reflects their ideas. So, in this way, today we will learn more about the developments of USA immediately after the American Revolution. Got it? For that, I will ask you to read a story, A Bigger Task. And while reading, you will search these answers. What are the questions? First question is, what needs to be done after winning the War of Independence? Another question is, what kind of government is being planned for in the newly independent nation? It means they are talking about USA. So here is the story. You need to read it carefully. Okay, I will read it for you. Henry Bingley was the assistant to the first president of the United States of America, George Washington. One night he was working late with the president. Most people think that when the war is won, life will automatically become better. But that isn't true, said George Washington. This is just the beginning. We have fought for our independence, and now we must work to create a government that serves our people well. For that, we must work as hard as we can for as long as we need to. Bingley knew that a lot remained to be done. Proposals for the Constitution and the form of government for the newly independent nation had to be looked over. The president was pleased that most leaders were keen on the kind of government which would give the state control over their own taxes and economy. Bingley himself was most excited that the government was to be democratic and a republic that would be ruled by an elected president rather than a king. After such a battle over non representation, to finally have elected leaders would be wonderful. It had been proposed that the government should be divided into three branches: the Congress, the legislative body, the executive, headed by the president, and the judiciary. Each section would check the power of others so that there was no misuse of authority. Bingley knew that the coming years would be hard, but he believed that the government they were trying to create would uphold the values of revolution for which they had fought so hard. I hope you understood what are they talking about. They are talking about the aftermath of the revolution, American Revolution. Means what planning they are doing what needs to be done in future after independence or after revolution. Okay, now based on this passage or the small story, here are some questions. Now, where did Henry work? So, as you know, sorry for the spelling mistake, my apology. Henry worked as the assistant to George Washington, the president of the newly independent USA. It means he was working in the president house, that is known as White House. Got it? What did the president say needs to be done after winning the war? The president says that winning the war is just the beginning and that they need to work hard to set up a government that will serve the people and reflect the ideals. What kind of government is being planned for? They are thinking of a government whose leader will be elected by the people. Moreover, they are planning to divide the government into three branches, each of which will check the power of other to prevent the misuse of authority. Got it? Now, why did the newly independent nation need a constitution? The newly independent nation needed a constitution that would reflect the revolutionary ideals and lay the basis for a government that would work for the welfare of the people. Now, what were the main concern in writing the Constitution in the immediate aftermath of American Revolution? The main concern in the immediate period after the American Revolution was that the Constitution should reflect the revolutionary ideals of liberty, equality, and freedom, and give greater rights to freedom to citizens. What were the features of the new government? It means that revolution was based on the ideas of liberty, equality, and freedom. Now, what were the features of the new government? The new government was to be based on democratic principles where leaders would be elected by the people. It was to be a federal government where the state would control their economy and taxation. It was to be a republic governed by an elected president rather than ruled by a king or queen. Coming to the next question, do you think the ideals of American Revolution helped the Indian freedom struggle in any way? The American Revolution was based on the ideas of liberty, equality, and freedom. These ideas gave inspiration to many other freedom struggles that came after it, such as Indian freedom struggle. Do you think the American Constitution influenced the Indian Constitution? If yes, how? So, according to me, the makers of the Indian Constitution were inspired to form a government where all the people could participate in decision making and where they were considered equal. Got it? It means everybody is equal in front of law. Okay, here comes the bonus question of the day. Now tell me, what were the immediate causes of American independence? Immediate causes, mind it. Okay. Uh, to get to tell these answers, you need to go to the Google Form app and take the correct answer. After doing this, you will complete your workbook, and in workbook you will do S2, and in notebook practice question 4 to 6. I hope you understood the lesson. Please read the content book necessarily. It means make it a habit to read it necessarily. It is very, very much essential for you people to understand the block properly. So please do read it. It will help you a lot in your future. Thank you and have a nice day.